On the road of death, American pilots used a newcomer to their weaponry arsenal. They fired thousands of rounds containing at least 320 tons of depleted uranium. The rounds are equipped with a depleted uranium arrowhead penetrator, which can pierce any armor plating. They catch fire on impact, reaching over 1,000 degrees, igniting the target and emitting a cloud of fine dust.
The latest generation of the M829 series round, known as the M829E4, is designed to penetrate even further than previous versions, the exact extent of which is classified, and to defeat active protection systems such as those built on the latest Russian tanks. Whether or not the M82E4 can penetrate the armor of the Russian new T-14 Armada tank is pretty much unknown. The US Army has not pushed the arm to the M1 with a longer gun barrel, to increase muzzle velocity, or a larger diameter gun since the Armata's introduction. An interesting non-development in the face of this new tank threat. Despite this ammunition's attention to obvious controversy, the round is really not all that new. The military has experimented with it for a very, very long time. It's a lot less denser than its cousin tungsten. Uranium can penetrate nearly all heavy armor types, but whereas tungsten projectiles become rounded at the tip upon impact, uranium shells burn away at the edges. This self-sharpening helps them bore into armor. Something that is also highly attractive to the military is depleted uranium's abundance. Depleted uranium is a byproduct of the process by which uranium-235 is created. It's the most radioactive and most useful form of uranium isolated from natural mineral ores. In 1998, the US Department of Energy had about 500,000 metric tons of depleted uranium in storage. Depleted uranium armored-piercing incendiary, or API munitions, come in two main forms. One is fired from the suitably named Tank Buster, A-10 Thunderbolt aircraft, and the other shoots from the beautiful M1 Abrams, which is also enforced with the DU armor. Both types of API munitions total 300 tons were used during the Gulf War, but only A-10s were used during the Operation Allied Force in Yugoslavia. According to a statement by NATO Secretary General Lord Robertson, some 31,000 rounds of DU ammunition were used throughout Kosovo during the 11 weeks of Operation Allied Force. Each round of A-10 DU ammunition contains around a 300-gram DU penetrating slug, which brings the total amount of depleted uranium dropped during the conflict to a little less than 10 metric tons.
In 1991, the first Gulf War started, and at that time I was here on a duty at night duty, when the airplanes, fighters, and bombs. After that, by many years, 3 or 4 years, we start to see many cases of cancer, particularly in this hospital. If we compare it to the 80s or 90s, we found there is an increase of, say, 4-fold.
And it was in Italy that the dangers of depleted uranium weapons were widely exposed in late 1999.
Our soldiers on peace missions in the Balkans are said to have been contaminated due to the presence of depleted uranium in the munitions.
My friends, we have with us Sergeant Major Antonacci. Unfortunately, you're ill. Could you tell us how this came about?
I left on August the 31st, 1998,
For a 6-month mission.
I
got the go-ahead after medical checks. During my stay in Sarajevo, I suffered several faint and dizzy spells. And a few months after I came back, these were attributed to lymphoma.
Cancer?
Cancer.